vegetable soup. Wow, words, so hard. Hey y'all, it's your girl Haley. I'm the girl behind Brewing Happiness, which is a health and happiness website with recipes dedicated to all definitions of health. Today we're making a vegetable stew. This is part of my intuitive cooking series, which means that these recipes aren't super specific in ingredients. They're a little bit more customizable, and they're meant to really help get you familiar with the kitchen. So instead of really exact directions, I'm sort of going to be guiding you through this, telling you what you should be looking for, smelling, tasting, all of those things, instead of just following a recipe and really not learning much about yourself and your intuitive senses in the kitchen. So this soup is very customizable. You can do almost anything with it. You can follow the ingredients I have exactly, or you can really play around with it. The soup is vegan. It takes about 30 minutes to make. It's really simple and you can eat it all week long. So it's good for meal prepping, or if you just have a big family that you need to feed, this is a great way to do that. All right, so let's talk ingredients. You need olive oil, spices. I'm using fennel, coriander, and black peppercorn. I'll also use salt. You could use a ton of different spices. I think that these just create a really nice, interesting flavor. And I actually didn't really measure these. You're just kind of using a pinch of each. I've got some grated ginger. I've got some minced garlic. I have both a cubed russet potato and cubed sweet potato. You could use any root vegetable here in place of that. So you could use butternut squash, you could use a different kind of potato, really whatever you want, the call is yours. And then I have matchsticked carrots. You could use cauliflower florets here, broccoli florets here, really any kind of vegetable that suits your fancy. You could use it in place of carrots, or you can use carrots. And then I have about 1 small onion diced pretty thin. I have 2 cans of fire roasted crushed tomatoes. Those are just gonna add some nice flavor and some depth. I highly recommend doing fire roasted as opposed to just regular crushed tomatoes. And then I have some vegetable broth. If you aren't a vegetarian or a vegan, you could use chicken broth, whatever kind of broth you want there. And then a little squeeze of lemon for acidity. And then the other ingredients that you will add at the very end of all of this cooking are, I have a can of cannellini beans that are drained and rinsed. You could use any kind of beans in place of these, navy beans, black beans, whatever you want here. And then I also have frozen corn and frozen peas, which I'll add into this. So it's very, very simple. It becomes this really nice hearty vegetable stew at the end of this and only takes 30 minutes. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. All right, we're gonna turn on our very aggressive burner, which makes such loud noises. So annoying. One day I'll get a new burner, I promise. Anyway, so we're gonna heat this over medium-low heat. We're gonna add some olive oil to the bottom. You want a pretty good coating of olive oil to the bottom of the pot. We're gonna let that heat for just a second. And then once it gets hot, we're gonna add in all of our spices and our ginger, and we're just gonna toast it lightly just until it's really aromatic. This is just gonna open up your spices and allow them to really sort of pervade the whole dish and make everything taste and smell delicious. All right, the spices smell nice and aromatic right now. They're getting a little bit toasty. So this is when I'm gonna add in the onion. The onion always goes in next because you wanna soften it up and get all those flavors right into the onion before adding everything else. But we're just gonna toss this just for a couple of minutes, just until it gets slightly soft and some of the water starts to release from the onion. Okay, so this has just been a couple of minutes. The onion is getting nice and translucent. The spices are really, really fragrant. So now what we're gonna do is add in our potatoes, both the russet and the sweet potato, along also with our carrots. Ooh, got a rogue carrot down there. Finally, our garlic. I'm gonna increase the heat just to about a medium. We're just starting to introduce the vegetables to all of the spices and to the oil, just heating them to get them a little bit soft before we add any of our liquids in. And this is also the point where we are going to add some salt. It's important to salt everything while you cook it as opposed to the end, because then it can really start to sort of take on flavor. There are peppercorns in there, but I'm gonna still add a little bit of pepper. I like pepper, you don't have to. We're gonna add about 4 cups of veggie broth here. And then to that, we're gonna add 2 cans of fire roasted crushed tomatoes. So now we're just gonna give this a stir just to so everything combines well. And then we're gonna increase the heat to high. We wanna bring this to a boil. And then once it's boiling, we're going to reduce the heat to low, let it simmer, add on the lid, and let it simmer covered for 20 minutes. Okay, it's been 20 minutes, so we're going to take the lid off. I'm just gonna give this a nice stir. It looks perfect. And then at this point, we're just gonna stir in our drained and rinsed cannellini beans. Again, you can use whatever kind of beans you want. And then we're also gonna add about 2 cups of frozen corn and frozen green peas. You could add whatever kinds of frozen vegetables you want. Again, this is super customizable. And then we'll just give this a nice stir. This is where it starts to become really hearty and delicious. I'm just gonna add a pinch of salt. It honestly doesn't need much. And then we're going to add some lemon juice in here, just for acidity. Stir this up one more time. We're gonna kick up the heat to about a medium, and then we're just gonna let this cook for another 5 minutes. And then you're done. All right, it has been 5 minutes, so now we're just gonna serve our stew. Ooh, look at how hearty that is. So there you have it. There is a fully customizable vegan stew that's made in 30 minutes. It's a really great dinner option for you guys. And I hope that this recipe helps you to become a little bit more familiar and comfortable with yourself and your cooking skills in the kitchen. That is it for this recipe episode. I hope to see you guys soon. In the meantime, stay happy and stay healthy. Bye! I'm gonna eat some soup now. Ooh, it's so hot. I'm not gonna eat some soup yet. I really want to though.